This is Krea 2, Identity Edit, instruction-based editing built on Krea 2. Up top, we've got two image inputs, A and B. Image A is your source, that's your main character. Image B is optional. You can load an outfit or an accessory there, or a second person if you want both of them in the same scene. Then in the prompt, you just tell it what to do. Put them in any environment, any action, whatever you want. So if you load a person in A and an accessory in B, you can tell it to put that outfit on the person. Then you're doing straight single image editing, change what you want, or have the character do a different action. It all comes down to what you write in the prompt. For the model, we're on Krea 2 Turbo INT8. Don't sleep on INT8, it's not the low quality option. Same file size as FP8, and it stays closer to the original model. It's the right pick on 30 series cards, and it runs on low VRAM. Load clip is QN3VL4BFP8. Make sure type is set to Krea 2. Load VAE is the QN image. Krea 2 isn't an edit model on its own. It's text to image. The Lora is what turns it into one. That's the whole idea behind this workflow. Using Krea 2 as an image editor, for Lora strength, I'm running 1.05. You can test your own numbers, but from what I've found, right around 1 or slightly above gives the best results. Play with it and see what works for your images. Down in the edit conditioning, we've got Ref Boost and Ref Boost A. I've got both set to 2 in this case. These control how tightly the model holds on to your original character. Ref Boost is the overall grip. Ref Boost A applies specifically to image A. Crank them up and your identity stays more consistent. But here's the trade-off. Push them too high and the model gets stubborn. It stops listening to your prompt and you'll start seeing flaws and inconsistencies in the output. Too low and you lose the likeness. So keep it under 4, but don't bottom it out either. For this one, I'm using 2. Edit instruction grounded. This is where you type your prompt. Whatever you want changed or modified in the image, it goes here. This top prompt is the one you'll rewrite for every edit. Below it, there's a system prompt. That one stays constant across runs. You can drop something in like high quality, keep the character consistent, and leave it there while the top prompt changes. Then grounding PX. This controls how many pixels of attention the model puts on your image. I'm at 768 right now. Push it up to 1024 and it locks onto your character harder. But the trade-off is it can start ignoring your prompt because its attention is on the image instead of your instruction. So if the model's being stubborn and won't make the change you're asking for, crank it down to 512, less grip on the image, more attention on what you're describing. That's the dial. High for likeness, low for stubborn edits. Now the outputs there are 2. The top group, sample plus 2x decode, is your fast path. The bottom one, Clown Shark final quality, takes longer but gives better quality. When you're just testing the workflow, keep Clown Shark bypassed. Select the whole group by holding Control and dragging over it, then hit Control B to bypass. Alright, now for the editing. You'll definitely want to use a sharp, high-quality photo for this. AI-generated images don't really deliver the same quality here, so make sure you're using a real photo taken on a camera. So for this one, I'm using an image I grabbed off Google. In the prompt, I'll put, make the man in image A, walk through the frozen snow. Then in the system prompt, I'll just add, consistent character, high quality, natural look. For now, I'm going to bypass the Clown Shark final quality group. It adds quite a bit of render time, and since I haven't dialed in the sweet spot for those settings yet, our standard output actually looks better. So we'll stick with the normal render for now. And I'm going to bump Ref Boost A up to 3 to lock in our character's identity even more. Next, let's change the prompt to, make the man in the image walk on the beach. As you can see, it changed the background and put him right on the beach, just like we asked. Plus, the character stayed consistent. Now let's bring in image B. I'll set the prompt to, make the man in image A wear the jacket from image B in Iceland, surrounded by ice, glaciers, and falling snow. So this time, we're merging 2 images together. Image A gives us the main character, and image B provides the outfit. Let's see what we get. And there we go. It nailed the exact scene we described in the prompt. Even though it still has that classic AI look, with the blurry background, it included everything we asked for in the prompt and kept the character consistent. Even though I asked for a clear background, it didn't really listen. Lowering the grounding resolution down to 512, might help here. Capturing fewer pixels forces the model to pay more attention to the text prompt. But for now, let's move on to the next test. Now, let me try using two characters. This time in the prompt, I'll just say, make the characters from image A and image B walk on the beach. Let's see how it handles this. So the character from image A looks pretty consistent, but the person from image B turned to the side, so it's a bit hard to tell if the likeness held up. Anyway, that's it for this video. In the next one, I'll show you how to get rock-solid character consistency in any scene by training a custom Lora. And you can download this workflow from the link down in the description.